My name is Leandra, and I am part of SBLA.
Hi everyone, my name is Jade, and I'm also in SBLA.
I said CBLA.
Yeah.
You know what?
It's okay.
It's 'cause
We're just mixing. You know?
It's because of that translating, guys. To be fair, I was in SBLA, but I translate.
Look,
so
a little.
yeah, I translate. So I'm mixing it up somehow. But yes, we are part of SBLA Hartford, and today we want to introduce our first podcast. And it's run by us today, so I'm very excited. Jade and I are the hosts of today.
Yes, I'm excited for this.
Me
yes,
too.
I'm excited to talk to the students.
The students today.
Yeah.
We have some special guests today that we hold very dearly. We love them so much. And on top of that, they have amazing stories that they are going to be sharing with us today. So we want to introduce them today. No further ado. Is that how you guys say it?
Yeah, I think so.
I think so. It's close. It's close.
Without further ado.
Oh, without
further
yeah.
ado.
That's
We'll
right.
start
like that.
Without
talking,
further.
and now it's your turn.
Yeah. We're just-
Introduce yourself.
They said it.
You guys could take turns.
Yeah.
Don't talk over each other.
Okay, I'll go first. So my name is Genesis. I'm part of SBLA as well. I'm in my third year of studying, and I go to New Life Worship Center, run by Pastor Willie Cordero.
What? You know the sound effect?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you did it.
Hey.
He actually did the sound effect.
God bless you guys. Shalom. My name is William Cordero. I am a student at, hold on, let me make sure I got it right. Okay, SBLA. I got it right.
SBLA.
I had to get it right the
SBLA.
first time. Well, I'm a student for year one there, and I am also a member at New Life Worship Center with the pastors, Willie and Raisa Cordero.
Period. Well, we are not from New Life, but we do share a lot of moments together. We are part of Centro de Júbilo El Olam. We are actually El Olam, just to keep it nice and sweet and short. But yeah, that's us. That's who we are with the pastors Magda Lopez and Ray Perez. And yeah, we're just here today fellowshipping with one another to share some things with one another. Huh?
Yes.
Stuff.
Yeah, so we have a few questions for you guys today. And these questions, you guys can be genuine, elaborate. These questions are really for other students to kind of understand us too, because when I first started, and this is just like something quick, when I first started, I think we were talking about it actually when we were upstairs. We were talking about how AJ's first class was the ones that didn't have translations and anything. So AJ's class was kind of the one that brought like the translations and everything. So when I entered, thank God we ended up having translators. But there's now a lot of youth that are coming into SBLA. And I think it's amazing to see other youth that are interested in learning about the Bible. So that's why today it is being run by us. But we want to ask you guys these questions because I think it's important that on top of all the ministries or responsibilities that we have at church, that we're also educating ourselves on who are we serving and how important it is to know the person that we're serving.
Yeah.
So, and on top of that, all the other additional things that come along with that. So you want to ask them some questions?
Yes, alrighty. Starting with the first question I have here. How has your academic year been so far?
Okay. You can go first.
Word. So I would say it's been refreshing because I know I've been wanting to, I wanted to look for something different and also a better perspective of the Bible. So that's when I've talked to Leandra, Jade, and Ray about seminary, and I said, you know what, give it a chance. And I'm telling you, I've learned a lot throughout the year, and it's been key with a lot of things. So I will say that it does give you perspective.
Yeah.
It does.
Yeah, I say for me this year, this is my third year, and so we'll be graduating soon. For me, I think that this year has been interesting in the sense of it's equipping you for ministry. So a lot of the classes that we're taking this year is like leadership classes on preaching, classes on like actively using the information you're learning in your ministry. And so I think that it's kind of prepped me in that way in, you know, applying what I'm learning in seminary to what we do at church. And so I feel like in the beginning, it's like you're learning, you know, basics about the scriptures. And as you continue, they start training you to walk in leadership.
Yeah.
And so that's how it's been for me this year.
And it's great. Me and Will are actually in our first year together.
Yeah.
So yeah, we are definitely learning all of this together. We're starting fresh and, you know.
No, trust me, it's. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No. Yeah. You're the speakers. You're the speakers.
But it's a lot of info, but
Yeah.
it's very interesting things because like we're both pastors' kids, so we've known like the typical like stuff within Christianity, and now to get a bigger view of, you know, from the Nephilim to the churches around like the world and everything, and then the good news, obviously we know that, and then learning more about who God is. Because there's so much more to him that we already know. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy because me and Genesis are actually taking, well, I'm technically like taking the classes over again, but it's nice because me and Genesis are taking third year right now, and I'm translating for Genesis. So it's been interesting because the classes have been crazy. Like, so interesting. Especially, I feel like this semester has been like really good.
And usually, like when I first get to the facility, Lee and I, we get time to just like talk and stuff, just catch up. And most of the time, the things that we talk about is what they talk about in the class. So we look at each other like,
yes.
That's
like, wow, that's powerful.
Yeah, it is very powerful.
And there's like those moments too we were talking about too that get so intimate. Like you're getting ministered through the class, and we just look at each other like, do we cry now? No, I'm translating.
Just hold the tears. I'll give you a box. It's a box.
It's true.
No, that's so good.
You do have to take a pause in those classes. They get, you know, they get deep.
They get deep.
And,
Yeah,
you
they
know,
do.
That's how we have to get. You know, the word, there's so many details. So
It's like you slowly indulge yourself in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
And tell me a little more about your experiences.
Yes, guys.
And just experience overall, like first year especially, and then third year.
So first year, I've the class that has there's two actually, the tabernacle and leadership. And shout out to Magda. Hey Magda.
She's behind the scenes, guys.
And you know what? It's funny because the tabernacle I never knew about it at all. And I thank Eric too. Eric was our professor for teaching that class. And there was one thing that he said. It was like, why do the priests wear the underpants? And it was because throughout like the synagogue and what they had to do, they weren't supposed to sweat. So if they sweat, they would be stoned to death. And mind you, this was guarding the Ark of the Covenant. So they all had a job to do in regards to fulfilling, you know, what was supposed to. I'm sorry, I'm talking so much.
This is part of that.
Yeah,
It's important. Yeah.
So then he asks us, like, why do we sweat as human beings? And whether it's losing weight or going to the gym or, you know, you're going for a run. But then he also put it in a perspective of when things come our way, how do we face those challenges? Because there's times where like we have it in control and then other times we don't.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm sure for the priests, like, you know, they were doing something very heavy. You know, it's something that it's very sacred. So if they knew in the back of their minds that if one slip up, it's just like you're disobeying at that point.
Yeah.
The pressure.
Yes.
So that was one thing I took a lot, and it really like restored my heart with that. And then with leadership, I love what Magda does. Like her style reminds me of what our dad does with communion. Like if there is an altercation with your brother or your sister, hug it out.
Yeah.
Hug it out, make those amends, you know, and then even when we do the communion, say, hey, forgive your brother, forgive your sister. We're in this together. Let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those details. No, those details are so important to like take in because I think that's what the seminar is for. It's not, and the seminar is for you to learn those things. It's for you to apply it to your life. And obviously, there's those moments where you're like, wow, I didn't even know those little details. Like these are stories that we hear, but we don't take the time to really dive deep in those depths. But there's such a bigger meaning as to why God allowed those things to happen. So like those little forgive your brother and your sister. It's like, oh yeah, I do that. But it's like, do you really? Because when you see them, do you embrace them? Do you, hey, this happened and I'm gonna, let go of that, But those little things are so good.
Yeah. And I definitely think that like in seminary, I feel like based off either how you grew up or like the doctrine you may come from, when you go into classes, they may be different than what you're like used to, and it breaks the mold of what has been in your mind. And it brings such a different revelation of like, oh wow, this is what the scripture means about this. And like I think that it breaks down whatever barriers or things that you may have believed about certain things and allows you to see the truth. And so it's very interesting for sure.
It is interesting.
It's great that you mentioned that too, because in a class as well, people are coming from all over, different levels, different backgrounds, so everyone has a different knowledge as well. So it's great to learn from other people too.
Absolutely.
And that's how we also get together as brothers and sisters in Christ, right?
Absolutely.
No, that's awesome. Great. Now, you did mention your favorite class. Did you mention your favorite class?
I did.
If you want to add another one.
I did.
I'd say for me, I really enjoyed the religions class. The professor, he would go through like different religions that are, out there, and kind of compare what do they believe compared to what we believe as Christians. And some of the things are just like mind-blowing. And even like, I think it was within the Catholicism or a specific religion, some of the things that were a part of just like persecution or like the things that they would do if people didn't like follow the doctrine, it just was mind-blowing, and I feel like I just learned a lot about that. And I think the class is meant to instruct you on how to be able to learn all these different religions, and then when you get an opportunity to talk to someone that's of that religion, you know how to have that conversation because you have that base knowledge of like, okay, what do they believe in, and then this is how I can kind of go about a conversation with them. And so it's definitely important for sure because like you said, we're encountering other walks of life, and so but everybody's supposed to be has an opportunity to know Jesus, and so and
all the classes, they go hand in hand with each other. While you're learning about religion, you then have the class of homiletics, which is like how to preach the gospel or how to defend the gospel. And those little things are important because we can't just step out, try to defend, or not even defend our faith, but just share the gospel without even knowing what the gospel is. And then even when you go and share the gospel, you don't even know the basis of why they believe on what they believe. And I think it's important to understand where they stem that belief from. And even if it's from us, to be fair. But even if it's from us, we can be open-minded and receive them, be like, hey, this is the reason why they understand or believe in what they believe in.
Absolutely. That makes me think of in homiletics class, Eric was teaching us about how like it's important to kind of know your audience and know that like based off the information you're giving, maybe everybody may not be at that same level. And so it's true when you're giving a message, you don't know if you're preaching to an atheist or somebody that's from a different background. And so having that information is definitely very helpful.
Very needed.
Very, very helpful.
Like how can we break it down?
For you to understand it.
To understand. I have a question here. How has the knowledge you have acquired contributed to your ministries? How has the knowledge you have acquired?
I'll go first.
Sure. So we were talking a little bit earlier.
Go ahead.
So one thing this last week, we had a class with Professor Maite, and it was for leadership number 2. And she had us learn through, we're learning about different laws of leadership by, I think it's John Maxwell. And so one of the things that she brought up was that sometimes in ministry it can be easy to just focus on having people do things as a part of your team. Like you're very task driven, like I need you to do this for me. And then you lose out on relationship. So like you have them do things for you, but then you're not even checking in to see how they're doing. And so for me, I think that it is definitely very applicable in ministry because it can be so easy to get caught up in the things that you're doing and forget about the people that you're even doing life with. And so I think that a lot of what we're learning, especially in leadership too, is definitely very applicable in how to go about leading a team and leading them effectively. And so,
Mine, there was another key thing in leadership, and it stuck with me a lot because I'm one that I like to share encouraging messages like in the morning. It could be 5 in the morning, 6 in the morning, shoot, 9 at night, whichever.
That's so good.
But it's awesome, like, cause I'll send it to like the PK group. I'll send it to like my family group chat. I'll send it to my other group chats, and just to give people that hope. Like, listen, I'm sure many of us, like on a Monday, you know, sometimes we don't want to go to work. Sometimes we don't want to go here or there and stuff. But just the fact that you woke up. You woke up and, you know, you have a fresh day to start. So in leadership, a key thing Magda said was especially encouraging others, especially the pastors, only because there's so much that they do within the church with leading people. And at times it comes to a point where they walk in the failures, they walk in through those challenges, and then there's also the positive outcomes. But what hit me more is like when people fall in despair, you know, and I think us as Christians, like when we go through things, there's times we isolate ourselves, you know, and even at times to even get into a bigger mess. But I would say the key thing is just encouraging them and understanding that wherever they are in life, they're not alone.
Right.
You know? So
I feel you never know what people are going through, especially like in pastorship. In some moments it can be very lonely because you go through so many different relationships, and it's a beautiful thing because you get to meet different people, but there's a lot of trials and you know, victories that come with it. And so so true, encouraging. You don't know how far that word can take someone.
And I think that was we were learning too in Micah's class too, having a inner circle.
Yes.
And you know, people kind of take that kind of like, what do you mean an inner circle, like your favorites? And it's like Jesus had an inner circle. He had his disciples, he had people he spoke with, he had people he relied on. And that wasn't his favorite people, but those were his people that he was able to be everything with. I gotta pray. I gotta go to the mountain. I gotta go pray.
To pray,
I gotta cry.
To be vulnerable, all of that.
Like, I just need to stay here for a moment. You know, and I think it's important in those moments too, is like, there is going to be a lot of loneliness, especially like if we're in ministry, or especially if you're always on the go. Like, there's people that are not going to understand. You know, there's going to be people that are they're just going to be like, oh, this person just doesn't have time. And it's like, it's not that. It's just, these are priorities for me, you know? And it's good though to have a balance too, where it's like, I do have people though that understand me, and that I can rely on when I am or needed to go to. So
absolutely.
No, that's one thing definitely, especially going into ministry, is learning how can I bring whatever I'm learning in ministry to also my home as well. Because like you guys were saying,
that's good.
How are you guys? How are we treating the people we're with? You know, and especially at home. People who don't serve yet may be at home as well. Something that is my personal testimony too. But those are things that I have an opportunity to learn from in seminar, and you have that. You can be a leader in your home. You can meet them where they're at. And get to share. You have that chance, share. That's what we all have an opportunity to do. It's a blessing.
Absolutely. That made me think of one thing that Pastor Magda said. I think it was in Leadership 1, regarding about how, like, before you even try to lead a church, how are you leading your home? And that just made me think of that.
That was my highlight on my notebook. I said,
that's
what am I trying to
start.
It's true. Because everything what's in the foundation in your home, like, that's going to overflow into whatever it is, how you lead, you know, your ministry and lead everything else.
That's so important. Because I don't know if it was Eric that shared that with us, but they were sharing that story about how when Jesus encountered Peter. And Peter at that time obviously was a fisherman, and he was fishing and he couldn't find any fish. And when Jesus encountered him, he knew that he was in debt. He knew he was struggling. And before Peter entered ministry, he was able to multiply the fish that he needed to not feed only his family, but to also pay the debt that he was in. And that's such a beautiful thing, because it's like, when you obey God, when you take that step, God is going to have your back. He knows what you're lacking. He knows what you're missing. And I think that's beautiful, because he was able to then step in ministry with confidence and boldness. It's like, you know what? I'm going to walk and follow you, because you already handled what I was worried about. You know?
That's good.
So it was those things are so important. I always remind myself of those things. Like, God has my back. And like, And that's something like what you were saying, that's a personal thing of mine too, where like my family obviously didn't grow up in a Christian home and everything. So when I came into seminar, those were things that I had to apply for myself. And it's like, I'm not only doing this for me. I'm doing this for people that don't know who Christ is. And I'm not sharing the gospel with people that know Christ already. I'm sharing the gospel with people that don't know who he is. So like this was a test in my character, a test of, do you really know who he is? And do you really serve the God that you say that you serve?
That's
so good. The seminar really helped me kind of ordain those things for me, you know? So
yeah, that's great.
Obedience pays off.
Yes.
Yeah, it sure does.
Hey.
And that's just like a personal time that you share with God too. Like the amount of time that you take to learn about his word, to just be in a devotional with him, to like, that's how you become more obedient, right? And abide in him. That's great. Yes.
It's funny because the more you learn, the more you do it. It ends up becoming natural.
Yes.
Like now, it's not
like you're forcing it or anything.
That was the word. Yes, it's not mandatory. It's not forced, and it's it really pays off. It does.
How, this is not a question that's written down, but now that it just piqued my question. How did you guys know you wanted to start? You did share,
that's good.
Like, how did you know you wanted to start a seminar? Like, start studying a little more? Like, what made you?
I'm gonna get emotional here.
If we get the tissues, you know,
we got our
a vulnerable space. This is an open space.
It is open space.
I mean, look, hey, there's more than one wall, guys. Hey. You know, it's funny because seminar, I've learned how to be vulnerable.
That's so good. That's
so
good.
Off rip.
Like that wall. Break that wall.
And I say this because, you know, as a pastor, sir, even just as a believer, we all go through a lot of stuff. And if I'm being like very vulnerable here, like if it was one thing I was asking God for was forgiveness. There was a time where I had a dark season of where pornography took over. And eventually that made me think of myself less as a person. And then that led to me finding love in the wrong places. And so then I had to make that decision. I said, you know, am I going to keep going through this cycle or am I going to find answers? Because if not, eventually the sin alone, if it's not broken or exposed, it's going to kill you slowly.
That's
good.
That's good.
And you know,
we just smacked.
Well, we just got
but overall, to sum it up, guys, you see this vulnerability is dope. It's really cool. And whether it doesn't speak to many, I will say it'll impact one. Because that one, it multiplies, it ricochets. And when I finally accepted that God forgave me, you know, and accepting that forgiveness, then that's when I say, you know what, let's dig more. And then, you know, Ray said, "¿Cómo está, Willie? You want to try something out?" Oh man, and I'm grateful because I've gotten the opportunity to learn, you know, and I had to tell myself to just keep an open mind. You know, and just being open to learn.
Yeah, that's good. For me, we were just talking about this upstairs too, but for me, we were at Pastor Magda's house. We were all just kind of hanging out, my siblings, Lee, AJ, Dolly. And I remember Lee came in and she was like, I just got my grade for seminar. And then Pastor Magda and Lee, they just started talking to me about what it was. And so it just sparked an interest. And then I kind of just like, it was gone after that. I didn't really think about it. And then they had reached out, just sharing, you know, more information. And for me, I just like to learn stuff. I like school. I like, you know, just that environment. And so I like to read. And so they really sparked my interest. And I was just like, you know what, let me just go for it. And so I signed up and here I am.
3 years later.
3 years later.
So
time
crazy.
flies so quick.
So fast.
So quick.
No, but thank you for being vulnerable, guys. And especially William, you know, because I think that's what the seminar is about too. And I know it's going to shake a lot of people because unfortunately we do got our head in a box, but we gotta stop pretending to be Christian.
Wow.
That is a costume that a lot of people are wearing. They think it's an aesthetic. They think it's cool. They think, just because I post a couple verses here and there, I'm living the life. And it's like, no. When you really serve Christ, you're going to be persecuted.
Yeah.
And persecution means also our flesh.
Yeah.
There's going to be things our flesh wants that is not going to benefit us. And like with those important little things, that is so important to share to people, because you don't know how many people have probably been struggling with that as a Christian, but they want to go up on altars and pretend like nothing is happening. And that is crazy. Because the God that we serve is the one that frees us. He's the one that liberates us from all those things. And it's like, why can't we share those things? That's part of our testimony. That's part of what God can do within us. And so I thank you for sharing those things. Those things are important to share, you know? And even the spark of Christianity, like there's people that's like, oh no, I already know enough. Do you know? Do you know enough? Because if the living word is the living word, we're learning something of God every single day. So whether we read from Genesis to Revelations, we're not going to know it all. You know, there's so many important little things in that we don't even take into consideration. Like just even the customs like we've learned, those things are so important. Like just to know, or even when they apply a specific rule or something, did the rule apply to us or did it apply to the people at the time? So even those little details are so important to learn. That's why seminar is so important to learn those things.
Like the craziest one, and I've seen it from Seminary and The Chosen, which watch The Chosen, guys. It's great. Listen, season 5 is out,
so good.
and part 2 is it's out this week. So check it out.
It's so good.
It is good.
I love you, Dallas. I love you, Dallas. But he's a director, by the way. He's dope. But
I hope you see this. Hey,
But-
guys, I hope you see this.
like, yo, tag me in the post. Tag me in the post.
Give us VIP, right?
But
So funny.
when you mentioned that, right, about like digging into the word and being prepared when you're tested with the knowledge, and even like for the Christians that are, you know, that want to atone for their sins back then, and I learned this in seminary. Back then, in the Old Testament, people had to find animals. They actually bought them, not find. Sorry, they actually had to buy them to sacrifice them to atone for their sins.
That is crazy.
I would never.
Yeah, and it was a crazy. It was, at the time, it was crazy because it wasn't just, you know, hey, you go to God and then, you know, boom, it's done, and you could just keep going. But once Jesus came and he fulfilled the plan, doing that, there was no need for that. You know? And
You know what it would have looked like to go and buy?
Be like, hey,
Some land.
I got like 10 coins. What can I get?
Yes, I literally since the whole year. I need to now make sure I have enough money to buy the animal that doesn't have any imperfections. The biggest one, if you sin's crazy too. Me, I'm buying like 5 cows at this point. Because I don't even know.
For one day.
Just for one day. For one day.
And to top it off, like this was actually being done in front of God's temple.
Crazy.
So it's like there was no conviction, there wasn't really reverence, no respect, no authority, none of that. They just say, hey, and no, it was at the time it was crazy.
And it's crazy because those things still be happening nowadays.
Yes, it does.
We take the church as a business opportunity. The church is not no business. But let me get back to topic. Because I start going crazy. I still got a little worldly in me, okay? No, I'm kidding.
Ushers, lock the doors, ushers.
No, I am renewed and restored. But listen, I still have my character, and God created me just that way for a reason. So, because that's how I fight my battles.
A good leader is a good
Y'all are witnesses of fighting my battles.
Listen,
I fight in spirit and physically if I have to.
Yes,
but
she sure does.
listen, when it comes to the gospel, I'm not playing.
She sure does.
listen. Being vulnerable is so cool. You don't have to wear the mask anymore.
That's it. Take off the mask.
Take it off.
Take off the mask.
How much more till it breaks?
No more. Take
Yeah.
off.
And I wanted to add one thing, talking about masks. It can be easy, especially being in ministry, to go through the motions of it. But then you don't know because you're not opening up your word. And so it's helpful for you to know what does the Bible even say, and you can do that in your own personal study in the seminar. You know, you don't know unless you open it and you take the time to learn, because the word has so much power. The word is what transforms. it can just be so easy to just go through the cycles of the day-to-day, not even connecting with what you're doing. But then when you have the word and you know the word and you're able to apply it to your life, it brings so much change, And so it's important.
I think the pinpoint on the applying.
Yes.
Because I don't want to be the person to know the word.
Yeah.
Exactly
not live it.
opposite.
Yes, so good.
Yeah.
I want to be, I don't want to say that, oh yeah, I'm a Christian. Like you were saying, this double life stuff.
Done. It's done. Put on your new clothes.
Yes, that's it.
Put in the grave. It's done. Like, walk with your new clothes. It's time.
And be confident.
Be bold. Like,
walking your purpose, fam.
No, literally. No. So
absolutely.
Well, with that, because since we're talking about the chosen,
that was so
it's April.
It is April.
Like, this is
preparing silent. Like, you have to take a breath.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
This is the month usually where people get very into their feelings. They're like, wow, something happened around this month. This is just what the world says. We're not saying that it exactly happened in April. We're not saying that that's what exactly happened this month. It doesn't declare it in the Bible, or it's not written. But this is what the world celebrates it to be. And if that's the case, then we'll take opportunity. You know? So
make it happen.
They say that the resurrection happened of Jesus, the crucifixion of Jesus leading up to the resurrection. And with that, we've been seeing on social media some stuff of like Passion 127 type stuff. And, you know, I speak boldly just because I used to be part of it.
I know.
This year, I took a sabbatical?
Sabbatical, yeah.
A sabbatical.
Wait, what is a sabbatical actually?
Yeah.
That's like when you disappear,
Girl.
right?
Like
You took a pause.
I did take a pause.
Me fui.
Elijah, the one that went to was it Elijah, the one that went to heaven?
Yep.
Disappeared?
I disappeared.
Yeah, like that.
I disappeared.
Wait, hold on.
It was Elijah, right? Or Elisha.
Or Elisha.
No, it's okay.
Yeah.
It was Elijah. You called the chariot. It was Elijah.
Elisha.
Oh,
Elijah.
That's so funny.
That was my fault.
Y'all correct us. It's either the J or the Sh.
Yeah.
One of them are like.
You know, I can't even imagine if I go up there, but like, where's Lee? What happened? I was supposed to see you. Where you at?
She took a pause.
I know they talked about the golden dinner, but like,
Took a pause, a break.
bro.
Like a break.
I took a pause for a lot of things that are occurring. I have a lot of transition happening this year.
Yeah.
But because of this, I've been able to witness Passion 127 for myself. But now I'm finally this year gonna watch it. Like I feel it's gonna hit so much different.
Yeah.
And I definitely went last year. That was my first year when I first started my journey with Christ. I was like, I want to look. I've never seen a passion show ever. Like I've never seen something about a play and about Jesus' crucifixion and his whole story. So I was like, let me take that time.
Yeah.
Let me take that time. And I went up too.
I'm ready this year to watch it. I'm actually gonna sit down, watch it. I'm not gonna be part of it. I'm gonna be watching it. And because of that, like, we just wanted to ask some questions upon it because I think it's still important, and I still think it correlates to what seminar is, because that is still learning, you know, Jesus. I feel like that's a good base to learn about Christ. I wanted to know, what is the Passion though?
Yeah. So Passion 127 is a theatrical production, theater, where we show, it's a drama, a play, where we show the life of Jesus, and we show how he impacted people, how he changed lives, how he did miracles, how he met people right where they were at. And then also in the last, kind of moments of crucifixion and how he resurrected. And how we now have access to relationship with the Father because of Jesus, and how everyone has access to forgiveness, redemption from sin, and access to eternal life through him. And so that's pretty much how we show it. We show it through creative arts. So there's dance, there's mime, there's acting, there's music, there's everything. I say in the creative arts.
There's everything.
There's a little bit of everything.
Yep.
And it's a beautiful production. That's what it is.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny because how long has it been now? Like 10 years? Has it?
So,
or more than that?
So this is our 4th year kind of revamping it. And so we were kids when we first did the play. Years and years ago, when our parents and Pastor Patrice, they first started off doing a song like for Easter celebration. And eventually they started just adding more things into it. They're like, you know what, let's just do a script. And so they did a script, and then the play came forth. And so we were kids being a part of it. And so we kind of grew up just participating as like a disciple. I played Mary the Mother one year as like a 12-year-old. I mean,
you know, it's funny because I still remember.
She was younger. And
no, I still remember doing the pantomime as the kids. Like we were all in the front, and then Patrice is leading us, and we're what was it like? Now behold the Lamb. Yeah, that man, it was such a vibe that day.
We have a lot of memories.
Yeah,
and so we had done it then, and we just kept doing it, year after year, and. The last time we had done it before we revamped it was, I want to say 2010, 2011. And so there was like a almost 10-year gap in between, the 10, 11-year gap in between then and then the new now. And so one day it was our dad's birthday and we were at Longhorn and Manny came with us. Manny came with us, and we just kind of started talking about the play. We're like, what if we just bring it back? And so that kind of stirred up the conversation. We started outlining, we could do this. Like ideas just started flowing. And from there, it came back. And so we've been running with it ever since. And the first time we did it revamped was 2022. So this is year 4.
That's
year
crazy.
4. Time flies. Time flies.
But I think those things are so important, and we bring this conversation up about Passion 1 to 7, just because, like I said, it's a base of Christianity, especially for people that don't know who He is. They get to see it visually. But it's also good because it's like those are things that you guys do behind the scenes. So like you guys go to seminar, you guys are learning about Christ, you guys are learning about all these things, but these are things that you guys are doing behind the scenes. These are part of your ministry. And I think those are important things to think about, because, or not to think about, or to share, just to share, because like people just think that we're just coming just to learn and then that's it, and it's like, no, we have other things that we do along with seminar and the way that we're applying what we're learning in seminar to those things, so like with that, like what was the process like when you guys are choosing like actors, when you guys are writing the script, because there's some moments that you guys are kind of changing certain things too.
So the first year we wrote the script, obviously it's important to study your word. It's important, so if you want to join seminar to study your word, it's good because that's the foundation of the script. We're showing the story of Jesus. How do we know about who He is? We know eyewitnesses and things like that, but the Bible is what gives us insight to what happened. And so we took time to just go through all the Gospels. And so we know that like in all of them, they have similar situations, but they're different perspectives. So one has certain details that the other may not have. And so we just really went studying through all the Gospels. All right, these are the main scenes we want to show. And so we just wrote the script based off of what does the Bible say. And so that's kind of how it came forth. And so every year we've just added more and more and more. We've edited things. We've gone back. Like, it's important to go back. What does the scripture say about this? Is there anything that we're missing that's important to show? And so that's how the script came to be. And the script was like the biggest hurdle to overcome because there's so much information. So it's like knowing what's best to choose, but then also like being wise on like not miscuing scripture, and that like, you want to be as biblical as you can, just so people aren't confused and you're not misinterpreting what it's saying. And so it took a while. And then the casting piece, we just usually announce it kind of like as we're getting ready to start the process of everything. We announce it, we see who's interested in auditioning, and then they come in for an audition. They have like a little monologue they have to remember. They come in and audition, and everyone gets a role. Everyone is casted, but their audition shows us what's the best role that's fitting for them. And so, that's kind of how we went through with the casting. And it is a lot of fun. You'll see, like, there's so many emotions that come with it because people are nervous, like, oh, I have to go in and like sit before like Genesis and Manny, and it's like, you're fine, like just be yourself.
Like, you know
because
them.
Exactly. But it was very David can attest to it. It's very nerve-wracking for sure. So you'll see like people are like going over the lines, making sure they memorize it. But we just really see, because at the end of the day, like, we're ministering, right? So with the play, it's not just you're coming and you're acting. We're ministering, because there's gonna be people that don't know who Jesus is, and so it's an opportunity to preach the gospel through acting. And so we want people to be as vulnerable, as real as they are with their personality. So based on how they act, how their personality is,
how it's gonna
I can see you play this. So like example, Peter.
Okay, Peter.
Who's Jeremiah Cotton fan? What's up?
Is that the role you play in Passion still?
I am playing him again, yes.
Peter!
Listen.
Don't be cutting nobody's ear off, though. Chill out.
Hey, listen, I will say a fun fact. He was one of the closest.
Correct.
Yeah.
He was with Jesus everywhere. So if trouble showed up, he was ready.
Oh, yeah. He's fighting physically like me.
Listen,
Yeah. But you need that.
You do need that. You need that body.
Like, Rabbi, who am I scrapping with? Who's bothering you right now? Like,
Holds him back.
Yeah.
just pull him back.
Do you play any roles, Genesis?
Me? I play like a townsperson, kind of.
Okay.
And I'm a part of a pantomime at the end of the play.
Yeah.
Yes. And,
That's the best
You know,
part.
That part is so good.
Amen.
But
It's
you know,
definitely very
the
emotional.
beautiful thing within all of it, with Passion 127, like, whatever role you have, like, you're in it.
Yeah.
Meaning, like, you're in a way, it feels like you're in that time where, you know, he was there. You know,
Yeah.
like when they had me do the audition, like, I cried doing Peter's monologue. And and it's because I related to him a lot where, you know, Jesus treated all of them the same.
Yeah.
Despite of what they deal with every day, he still took them. You know, and I can only imagine at the time where Peter would fight for him and then at the time deny him. And then to see him not there on the cross. And it's like a lot of emotions stood up just for me, only because, like, I know for me, like, there's times I speak my mind and there's times where, like, I'm ready to fight, but I also have to understand that, you know, God's there.
Yeah.
God listens. God understands. And there's grace within all of it. So, trust me, it's a lot to take in. And another fun fact too, 60 people gave their life last year.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's so good.
Yeah.
So,
That's the
trust me,
intention.
like, the play, it becomes so relatable that as people watch, like, hey, you know what? I could have been like them. You know, it's really cool.
Yep.
It really is.
Are there like any challenges though when it comes to that? I feel like the whole process in general, just because, like you said, there is.
And the pressure.
Yes, there is there's a lot of pressure because you're portraying Jesus' story.
Yeah.
So like, what are the challenges that you guys face when it comes to like Passion 127?
Yeah, I feel like there's a couple things. So one of the first things that comes up, at least for me in this role, I think is in preparation for it, dealing with different characters, different characteristics, because there's so many people that are part of it.
Yeah.
I want to say there's over 50 people, volunteers that volunteer. And it's beautiful to see, but it can also have its moments where it's like, one person may be a little bit more outgoing, one person's a little bit more shy, and you kind of have to meet people where they're at. And there's a lot of opinions, a lot of thoughts and stuff like that. But I think one thing that's been important is just to remember the vision, remember the why. That kind of keeps us going, you know? And then I think the other piece of it, because we're showing something as powerful as you know, what Jesus, the most powerful story ever. We know that there's a lot of attacks that come with it, spiritual attacks, where as we prepare, things just start happening. Crazy things. So one of the first, I want to say maybe the first or second year we did it, our main character, Jesus, ends up getting sick, loses his memory days before the play.
That's crazy.
And we're like praying, believing, like, God, like heal him, allow him to gain his memory back. And praise God that, like, literally, I want to say it was the day before the play, his memory came back. Wow. It was insane,
and
you know.
You guys were like even considering of even having someone prepared for
just in case, just in case.
How critical like the condition was.
Just in case. It was insane. And so like you just see like there's just things that happen where like, you know, you'll notice like there's even personally where like people will leave your life where there's just like relational things that come up, struggles and things that insane amount of things that happen.
Expect,
to kind of, and I think it's, you know, to try to distract you, that the enemy tries to come in. The enemy tries to come in to distract and, you know, skew whatever God is trying to do. But I think the main thing is remembering your why.
That's right.
We're doing this for God. We're doing this to shake, you know, shake people, allow them to know who Jesus is. And so I think that's kind of what's kept us. And I think, and I feel like seeing the impact of what the story and how we show it does for people, I think that keeps us going.
No,
so,
Any questions?
I think, no, I don't.
Hey, you got questions, you got answers.
Yeah.
With that too, like, is there any like future vision for Passion 1 to 7 than what is happening now? Do you guys see something bigger or anything?
I know like our dad has talked about like expanding the play, meaning like he's talked to directors from it was the Hartford Theater, right? Hartford Stage, Bushnell Park, and that way more people can see and witness the story.
Yeah.
So, and it gives opportunities for people to even spread the good news even more. You know, and it's an experience, man. I still remember the first time like playing Peter, and so there was a point where the crucifixion happened, and they take Jesus' body. And mind you, so we have the cross on stage, we have the tomb in the back, and then we have the staircase. So now at the time I'm playing as Peter, where I realize I don't see his body, like he died, and I go on the stage, I broke down. Yeah. Like at the moment I felt Peter's weight, but then like a few more seconds, like, all right, get it together, lock in, but. It's like, it's one thing to just play the role, but once you understand
why you're playing it,
who you're portraying, and who, portraying a character who was friends with someone that spoke life to them, But yes, answer your question, he's been talking to them about like expanding and stuff. So I'm excited, man. It's gonna be dope.
Yeah, it is very exciting.
That is so exciting.
I think also sharing anything of any story in the Bible, whether that's through drama, through worship. And that's a form of worship.
Absolutely.
Like,
absolutely.
Just the way you are sharing that story, it's gonna touch you and it's gonna change you too, but you have to allow that as well.
Allow it.
Yeah, that's so true.
Being open to him.
Yes.
It's gonna be will be the key.
It is.
If we're closed-minded to him, we're never going to experience what he has for us. Is there any way, I know we spoke upon this earlier, is there any way people can purchase tickets?
Yes.
Or how they can purchase tickets?
Yes. So seats are going like
quick.
Really quick.
It's filling up like
really quick.
Really quick.
And so people, to purchase a ticket, you can go to nlwc127.com. And once you click on events or calendar, you'll be able to see both shows. The first show is on Friday, April 18th from 7:30 to 9:30. And Saturday, April 9th. Oh, sorry, did I say that wrong? Friday, April 18th. And then Saturday, April 19th.
Yep, you got it.
There we go. You got it right.
From 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Doors open at 3 on Saturday, and doors open at 6:30 on Friday.
I got my ticket, so I'm good.
So,
I got my ticket.
This is my reminder today.
Yes.
You need to get your ticket.
Yes.
Oh, you need to get that now.
Because I need to invite the whole family.
Yes.
Period.
Oh, that's awesome.
But yeah,
That's
guys, go on nlwc127.com. You're going to click to events, and from there, you'll see both the show times for the play. So RSVP, and from there, be prepared.
Yes, don't miss out, guys, because seats are limited. Yeah. Well, that
And
was exciting.
the tickets, $7.
$7.
Oh, yes.
And for
Contribute
anyone
to this
Contribute.
vision.
Right. And for anyone who is learning and seminar too. This is
This is a
great
good
way
opportunity to go
vision.
see.
Yes. Well,
Not just your student, like not just your. Well, yes,
Not just
actually,
your
just your
year.
student. Also, your
oh yeah.
your little friend from seminar.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come and support your friend from seminar. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the reason why I say that is because we are one church.
Yeah.
Yes. Right.
That's it. Simple as that.
Yeah, and we say with the $7 the donations because we are planning to have a new building next to the church. So it's called Project 127, and so that's something we want to we're pushing it towards. That
So
way,
all the donations are
all
going
the donations are going there, and plus more people can come and experience it. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so exciting, guys.
I'm excited, a little scared, but excited. But
Wow.
it's gonna be awesome.
That's
It's gonna be awesome.
exciting. Well, we want to finish off first by saying thank you guys for coming.
Thank you for having us.
Yes, thank you
It's
guys.
an honor, for real.
No, thank you. Yeah. Thank you guys for taking some time to, and also just sharing your vulnerability as well.
Your experiences, what you guys do in ministry, what you guys do in seminar, your experiences. So thank you guys for being open enough to have those conversations with us.
Of course, we appreciate the time and just the fellowship here. And like I said, guys, vulnerability is dope. It's really cool, man.
That should be the title of the
Vulnerability is cool.
It's really cool.
Vulnerability is cool.
Put that on a shirt.
Put it on a shirt. Put it on a shirt.
Yes.
Yeah. With that being said, we are going to be closing off our first episode.
Such a special moment.
Such a special moment. We started the first episode, guys. Yeah.
Hey, look at that.
Yeah. And since we're closing, we do want to let you guys know that if you guys are interested in joining our SBLA.
Yes, you got it right.
I said it right. I didn't say C.
SBLA.
SBLA. We want you guys to reach out on our social media. We have Facebook, and we also have, I believe it's YouTube. And that's it for now. We have some more social media accounts coming out soon where you guys can get more information on how to enroll. We are enrolled all year long, so you guys are more than welcome to come in through half of the semester, at the end of the semester, you name it. So come and reach out to us and we'll give you guys more information, and our director will lead you to that enrollment. So that's pretty much it for today.
Yes.
Join us for the next episode. We don't know who's gonna be in it, but we'll see. Bye guys!